Okay, legends, welcome back to the channel with another Overlord Lord of Nazarick video, and this time we're gonna update the tier list for February, and we're gonna change a little bit of positions depending on the meta. Now this tier list is not final. It doesn't mean that the new unit will not break the entire meta. This is the meta as we see right now, as it is, and how we are doing in PvP, in PvE. Where is the usage, what are the most usable units, and where you can bring them, or you can build them up to a point that could help you. Now a lot of things have changed. The meta is a counter team deck, which is the meta that is currently playing. I'm gonna be telling you how much they are important, what are the tier zeros, what are the SS, which is the most units that you want to build, and the other units that are usable because of their utility and because they are everywhere, built on any account that you can use them, especially in PvE and then in PvP. PvE is the most one that you want to focus for because you want to farm, then get the units that will help you in PvP. Now, we're gonna talk about the units that dropped immediately in the game. We have the new unit, which is Negredo. Negredo absolutely falls in S category. Now, she can be an SS category, yet she is a little bit squishy. You can shut down her if you stun her or freeze her until you're gonna have somebody to control and support her. She will be absolutely fantastic. We still didn't test her out that much. Still, she's a perfect unit to be played. This is what will make other units like Gazef and Sebas drop down. We're gonna talk about the new healer, which is absolutely phenomenal. I would say she's the best healer right now in the game, which is Crush Lulu. In my opinion, she and Mare, one of the best utility. They are, in my opinion, tier 0, but I'm gonna talk about statistics and fights and how we are watching them and how they are being played in the game right now and how is it working for everybody in the game. So Crush Lulu with her ability, especially if you have her Arc Light, will protect your entire lineup. Plus she's gonna heal. You can play with the cleansing set on her. She boosts her meter and she apply on the unit that she heals a buff that can, anybody that can attack them, they will get silenced. So she's like Pistonia, but she's more consistent because she can use the silence on second skill and on her ultimate on the primary target. They're gonna take the buff, and anybody who attacks them will get debuffed by silence. Now Black is still a great unit, have fallen off a little bit to the A rank. Still usable, very good, but you need a lot of setup and build for him to work actually. But he's on top of the A. Sebas drops down to B. Gazef drops down to B. Still good units, but not that usable. And we're not gonna see them in anywhere anymore because of all of these units. If you wanna build a better Gazef, a better Sebas, just build yourself Black. He's free, you can collect him, you can 6-star him via the game if you farm Arena, and you can get his Arc Light for free as well, and you can build him. If you got Negredo, she's absolutely ridiculous and she's super helpful there. We have a drop off also for Nabe. Still, Nabe is a great unit, especially with shock teams, but she drops off a little bit. Now we have a new unit that it's an SR, which comes in the A rank. Yes, he's one of the best tanks, not as Yuri, but he's as good in everything. He does everything. Absolutely a great unit. Peter drops to C rank again. Peter is great with Team Adventure, but nobody builds him. Plus, we're gonna get a lot of other adventurers that will help us out. Absolutely a good unit, but not for this kind of meta, especially with counter team. You can't fit him in with all adventure. If you play Momon and him on a counter team with isekai and Yuri, he will not survive that much. He will be the weakest link because you need to play Brain, and Brain will allow your lineup actually to deal a lot of damages. If you play him with Momon, Brain, and isekai, and you're having Peter, now the lineup will be a little bit sustainable. They will counter a lot and deal a lot of damage, and he will boost turn meter to a certain extent. Still, you don't have this mitigation that you lack with Yuri. So Mare drops off to the SS category. Yes, he drops down to the SS category. It's still meta to play him with that one team AoE shot with Evil Eye. Maybe Albedo instead of Evil Eye if you don't have Evil Eye, because I don't have Evil Eye. I replace her with Albedo, still works the same. You can play Demiurge if you want, but he works completely fine with Idol Shaltir and with Albedo or Evil Eye with the one-shot team, with Renner or with Hamsky. Absolutely a great utility, great lineup. But the problem is now that mages are countered. If you play Touch Me, if you play Crush Lulu, if you play Mitigation of Damage, if you play a Valkyrie Shaltir, so Touch Me on one lineup with any other supporting units with a little bit of tankiness, they will not get one shot. A lineup that has Crush Lulu with her Arc Light with Touch Me Leader, also they will not get one shot. a lineup that has Valkyrie Chartier with Touch Me Leader. Also, they can't get one shot. So if you want to counter the AoE Mage comp like I do, all my teams play with the Touch Me Leader. I don't play Ainz anymore, which is Ainz good for mages. I'm not saying he's bad. In the future, we're gonna have a lot of mages. They will come and sweep out and show you how good are the mages. But right now, it's fallen off a little bit. Now, another unit that fell off a little bit, which we're not using that much outside PvE, which is Albedo. Sadly, Albedo, still a great unit. Everybody gets her for free. This is why you see her on most lineups. She's used everywhere because she's so good and she's free and available for everybody to get her to 5 stars. And hopefully in the future, upcoming updates, we're gonna get her to 6 stars. She falls off a little bit. You can replace her with literally anybody that deals AoE damage. I would prefer to play Demiurge instead of her on a PvP lineup or PvE lineup, just for the fact that he stuns and he deals more damages with a burn. Especially her captain skill is absolutely fantastic. I would say for me as free-to-play player that I don't have access to all the other premium units, especially for the AoE lineups, she's still the one that deals the most damages for me, and she allows my team to go ham and deal every single damages. But so far, because the meta changed, and as I said, the meta changed a lot, so you're not gonna see these units spike a lot or be contending with the highest rarities. We're gonna see them fall a little bit by little bit, and new characters will gonna hop on back up and up and up. Now, Zaryusu, absolutely the best unit for control in the entire game, goes up to tier 0. I showcased how good he is. I played versus a lot of my friends, a lot of them that are heavy pay-to-win spenders, that are their whales, and still my win condition was Zaryusu. And we tried different units without Zaryusu, and I couldn't get a win on them with every single lineup that they have. Mages, tanks, warriors, I couldn't do anything. But when I play Zaryusu, he's the factor to give you the W. So he's the most banned character right now in the entire game in PvP. If somebody sees Zaryusu, they just get the chills and they just ban him. Nobody is banning Isekai. Isekai is so good, but it's still manageable. Anybody can win in a mirror match, Isekai versus Isekai or something like that. But if you have a Zaryusu, oh my god. This dude is unbelievable. You can play him with Vertmari set. You can go back to back using his ultimate, never ending. And this is actually what happens most of the time, most of the cases and the scenarios that we go for PvP. The same lineup will never change here. Now, I would say in tier 0, I can drop a little bit Maid Albedo, but still, because she's the limited character with the highest damages, she deals a lot of damage. Her assist is absolutely fantastic. She's good for PvE, she's good for PvP. You need her in Treasury, you need her everywhere. So she's still good, but in PvP, she falls off a little bit because we're playing the defense down. So we're using the second skill of Valkyrie Chartier into a moment that is decreasing the defenses to 75%. Right now, this is the current meta. This is why I'm telling you how to play the teams or where are they used. But is she a good unit? She's absolutely one of the... She's still on tier 0. She will fall off. When she falls off, the next unit, I promise you, that is limited, she will drop off, not to SS, maybe to S or A. She's super good, just like Idol Chartier. Idol Chartier is falling off a little bit by little bit, still in the tier 0 because of the AoE massive, because of the buff block that she does, the heal block that she does. Absolutely, she can kill indomitable units because she does the buff block. After they get indomitable, she removes it, she kills them, which is really, really great. Runner still for the speed, everything is good for her. Plus, she buff you for the crit rate and the crit damage, which is absolutely what you need if you're playing the Evil Eye Mage comp, which is really good. Now, PDL, he's still up here in the SS, especially for PvE content, because we can't do it as free-to-play players. He's the best tank for them right now because you don't need to max him out. Actually, 3 stars, 4 stars, he works. You can grind his Arclight and also use it on him because he will cleanse even more. For Albedo, Albedo will stay here. She will fall a little bit, not now, maybe in the future. Still one of the best tanks. Why? Because of the taunt utility that she has. We're seeing a lot of players that took my advice now and they're playing on her the Red Dragon set, and she can reset because they attack her. She will force them, she will taunt them, they build her high on AP, on base, on stats, other stats like the substats, and she will go and taunt everybody. And when they hit her, she has a 20% chance to reset the cooldown with the Red Dragon set, so she will reduce the ultimate for herself, so she can do it in another round or maybe after 1 round. If you can CC your lineup with Zaryusu, so she's a great pair with him. If you play Zaryusu, her, and Valkyrie Chartier, and you play Crush Lulu on the same lineup, you would have a solid lineup that will taunt, freeze, do everything. You don't even have to freeze with him on this first turn if you taunt everybody with her, but he starts first, so you might freeze the most dangerous opponent, then you can taunt everybody and they will be taunted, so they can consider being controlled, I think, but I don't think that control works a lot with it. She can work really good with Negredo. He can work really good with Negredo. Negredo just works with every CC team. Now, another unit that dropped a little bit, which is also Cocytus. Cocytus is a great unit, but for PvE content, you might use him, especially if you want to go to Realm of Shadow. But other than that, he's not that useful other than PvP, PvE. In PvP, you might see him, but he's not that helpful as well, because he's also, his damages need to ramp up. You need to put the bleed, the stacks to go to 10, so you can hit with your ultimate and kill somebody. And until they get 10 stacks of bleed, one cleanser could just destroy his entire play and plan, so he drops off a little bit. Now, for Pandora's Actor, I'm not gonna put him in SS yet. Still, he's going higher into the meta, dropping on every single lineup. We've seen him with the buffs, what he can do. We've seen the immunities for him. Absolutely a great unit. Plus, he can deal a lot of damage when he gets a lot of buffs. Absolutely, I didn't expect that he will be shown like this, especially with the Cocytus teams, because Cocytus, now I told you before, with Cocytus you can play any unit and it will be nice, but with him, he buffs even everybody, even the tank Cocytus can go and one-shot units. Now, I'm gonna do this right now for people to understand the meta right now. If you don't have this unit and you didn't build this unit, you're doing something wrong on your account. Right now, until like we get another unit that enables counters just like Icy Cocytus, Brain is a tier 0. Absolutely a tier 0. Any lineup, anybody that plays PvP, you're gonna see them having building Brain. Not for PvE, for PvP. Now, he's played in PvE, he does wonderful things, he does the attack down, he does counter every time, he deals a lot of damages, absolutely wonderful. You absolutely don't need to play him on speed. Crit rate, crit damage, damage boost and attack, maybe a little bit of damage reduction, defense, HP, whatever you want as substats, but the most things that you want to build him on, crit rate and crit damage, and maybe one substat or two substats of EP, just for him to go and actually apply the attack down on the enemies, which he will do because he has a 100% chance, which is huge as well. He's played on every single PvP lineup or counter team, which will enable Yuri, will enable also your healing from Icy Cocytus, because every time one counters, if you have his leader skill on, all the team will heal. Every time he counters, he's gonna get the shield because Yuri is there, and when he's available and he's using his passive, everybody will counter on your team. Meaning, if you play him with Zaryusu, Zaryusu will counter and do stack of gold. Yuri will counter and she will get shield, and she gets shield upon her attack. And then the more counters, the more that she does her AoE, which will help you survive a lot and help you do everything again. Now, another unit that have been added recently to the game, and many people are telling me drop it on B, on C tier, but actually he's decent for PvE, and I would put him here in the A rank. He's a better healer than other healers because he cleanses, he buffs, he gives you a big defensive buff. He needs a lot of time to ramp up, so he's good with playing in maybe a team of counter, because he will take a lot of time to ramp up, and then his healing, then his defensive boost, and he will heal and cleanse everybody and buff you, which is a good healer, which is Eclair. Eclair is a nice unit, not that bad to be honest. If you want to think about it, he's not that good or compared to Mari, maybe compared to Crush Lulu, compared to Runner heals and the speed that she has. He's so slow as well. And Henry, I can compare him with Henry. Henry buffs you defensively, buffs you offensively, can stun, can regenerate, heal every single round with her passive. So I would say she's good. Maybe he's on the same level, maybe a little bit better on HP stat, but other stats she's better than him defensively, speed, maybe a little bit that she can sustain and help your team. But he's still good. Nonetheless, I would say he's in PvE very good, especially versus bosses, because it will take a long time for you to kill them, and you can protect yourself with him. It will be full stacks of his ambition stacks, and you're gonna be full on 7 stacks, and you're gonna get that reduction in damages that will allow you to sweep. So I would say one copy of him, if you can get him, it will help you a little bit in the story. I would never pull for him because I have Henry. She does what he does, but she does it with her ultimate. Just I reduce the cooldown of her ultimate, maybe give her a couple of rounds, she stuns somebody, I control the enemy, and I can do her ultimate again, and I get the reduction in damages, which will help me a lot, and she buffs attack, which he doesn't do. So this is why I would say they are put in here. Now, I would drop Blizzard a little bit, but because his taunting utility, we've seen his taunting utility on some lineups. I played against him in PvP. I almost lost because of him. He kept taunting everybody when he attacks, but in the end we won because he's not that such a cool tank. He's not super good in tanking. He does give shields, but even if you invest in him so much, his shields are weak. You can say PDL shields are the most biggest ones, and then Albedo, or Albedo is the biggest, and then PDL shield, depending on how much defense and HP you built him. And they can tank, they can support, they can cleanse, they can do a lot of things, they can debuff. Which he's a little bit of single target taunting, while Albedo is a full taunting with AoE. Now, I played against him having Albedo on the same lineup, so she taunted everybody. The one that I didn't get taunted with, which was Zaryusu, he taunted him next round. So if I froze him, I wouldn't have the problem, but I didn't freeze him. I didn't think that he would be a threat. Then he was a threat and taunted me. I almost lost, but when I faced him again and again and again, the same player, when I was playing PvP, I actually destroyed him because I just taunted his Albedo and he needed to taunt somebody, and I had high resistance because I'm playing Crush Lulu. This is how Crush Lulu is good. She gives you effect accuracy or reduction in resistance to any kind of effect control or whatever, and you will have ER most of the time boosted into the entire game, or at least a little bit because of her passive and her arc light. This is why I say she's super underrated. Many people didn't like her. Even my friend, one of my best friends, Teach, told me that he hates her, he didn't want to play, but he was forced to play her and to build her because she's that good, to be honest. And yeah, that is generally our tier list for February right now. Again, if you might see this and tell me, oh, why are they still in top? Because they are the highest damage dealers as AoE, as single target, the best utility right now, and they are limited. I'm not just pushing them, but just because of that. And most likely everybody that pulled them have them their main source of damage and they're playing them. If you didn't pull them or played them, again, there's different units that you can play around and they will perform as good as the rest. Now, other units are super high, which I talked badly before about them, such as Momon, maybe Ego Aura. Maybe Aura, she was top here in the SS, now she dropped a little bit, and she will keep dropping and dropping. Momon will drop next after her, but she will drop before. Now, she's more consistent with chase. Momon is more consistent with damage. That's what you need to keep in mind. And yeah, that's basically it for the tier list. Again, this is not a Bible. This might change. This is perspective about percentages that the players sent me. There's a big spreadsheet that they sent me about the matches, how much there's win rates, loss rate, how much they go to ties, how much they can be effective on one lineup, how much they die immediately or survive maybe a little bit more. And this is what we came up with. And again, Brain, yes, I put him in tier 0. This is me personally talking. And if I want to put him in general, he's at SS right now because of the current meta. He's before that on S tier, but he's on tier 0 right now. If you didn't build Brain, build him and play him on a counter team. It doesn't matter if you have Isekai or not. I don't have Isekai. I play him on another team and I keep him surviving, and my entire team counters, and we can deal even more damages. Pair him up with maybe with Zaryusu. Zaryusu can counter and inflict more freeze on your enemies. Maybe with Aura, she can inflict that tag on the enemy, so you can follow up with chases later. So that's it for our tier list. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Are you playing different characters? What are your favorite characters? And I'll be seeing you in the next one.